now the final presentation in this session. Let me invite the next speaker, Professor Francesco Saverio Fera from Bologna.
Professor Francesco Saverio Fera.
Good morning to everybody, and thank you for being invited in this important meeting. And it's very difficult after what we just heard about Ukraine. And I was really touched by and I appreciate the speech of Professor Pawlowski, and especially of Mr. Belinsky. Let me say, and I send home my closeness of what is happening right now in Ukraine, but also about all the wars that we have in this time of not only in Ukraine, but we know it's very difficult situation all over the world. So it seems quite silly to me to talk about these things, thinking that close to us are dying, young people, not only young people, kids and wherever. But anyway, I believe that we still go on, and it's great to think about the future of those population that is suffering in these days. And actually, we can have a lecture for what we just heard, and my speech is closed in a certain way. I didn't prepare that specifically, but the title I gave to my speech, "The City as Architecture," means that it's not only a tautology, but it's want to be a closeness to the idea that we are coming from a past, thinking to the future, but we have to learn from this city. And we also had, during World War II, we had disruption in our towns, and most of them were rebuilt partially. In other situations, they were destroyed. I mean, they were not rebuilt as they were. Instead, I believe that we probably need to build the memory, to rebuild the memory, not only to have again to make again the same mistakes, but in order to found the good things that our ancestors left to us. So this morning, other colleagues, they talks about the important lecture that we have from the town, and that the town is a collective art. Many authors talks about that, and it's probably one of the most complex and important piece of art that we have in our societies. So the city, it's part of it's not just the technical things, of course, but it's the place of the soul of the people that create that place and in which live, the people that live in that place and modify that day by day. So, as an architect, I think we are in charge of trying to find our contemporary way of looking at the architecture, what should be the form of the town. For sure, we need to listen to the sociologists, to the technicians, to the engineers, and so on, but I think at the end, we have to think about the form. Architecture is a way of giving answer to the needs of the community. And we cannot invent every day the future. We can try to do a little step ahead each day, taking advantage from the past and learning from the past. So we are living in a society that mainly is focused on the emotional way of thinking at the architecture. Think about the social. The social today, we say I like, I dislike. They don't ask us to make a thought, a critical thought on what is happening during our day. And so it's partially our architecture. And this was written very well by Douglas Spencer in the Architecture of Neoliberalism, How Contemporary Architecture Became an Instrument of Control and Compliance, published in 2016, in which he gives an outline of the situation, how the liberal society has reached its peak in architectural practice since the 90s, underlining how the supremacy of emotional and sensorial experience has replaced that cognitive, has replaced the research for the meaning of the place. So the civic ideas of the architecture has almost lost it. And this is especially true in Italy, where the community doesn't express the places. This morning we saw some projects done in Italy, which are very, I think, are remarkable projects, but those are academic projects. The towns, the political parts of the town normally doesn't take care about what the academia is doing. They never ask professor to think about the form or the ideas on the towns. And this is because the excuse is that there are no money in order to redevelop or to refurbish former factories or to a military barrack or wherever. So the municipalities normally in Italy, they give to the contractors, to the developer, in charge of making that part of the towns. And I think that and this is not a problem of us as an architect, or actually it is, but especially is a problem of the society in which we live. And we as an architect probably have to speak aloud about this problem, not only in the schools, but even in the society where we live. The problem of the heritage that we got from the past, I think, is still a value, and especially after the technology that we have today. Thanks to the technology, we can meeting with people that is living 2,000 kilometers away from here. We can have all the information by using this in the same time when that is happening on the other side of the world. So we probably can think again about the town of the so-called the 15 minutes town, a town made with the ancient places. This is my first time in Krakow, and I think it's a beautiful town. I just visited briefly last night. The beautiful square in front of the cathedral, I think is one of the masterpieces of the European architecture. And that's still today something from where we can learn about the architecture. So I don't think that we need superstructures, some certain way silly utopia. We need a utopia, of course, but not like what is happening right now in Saudi Arabia, where they are designing a linear town of about 170 kilometers, in which I wonder what kind of life there will be there. And I don't want to get inside the environment problems that that project is doing to the desert, but this is another issue. So we probably, and even more true after the COVID-19, that after that we rediscovered the pleasure of being in meeting people, or in living in our neighborhood. So I think that we have to reinvent the town, but thinking about the town not of the private transportation. This morning we saw the MIT studies for new cars, new private cars, but probably we need to rethink the transportation not as a subjective but a public transportation system, a better transportation, public transportation system, because we knew that we are consuming almost all the energies that our world is offering to us. So in few words, I think that as an architect we can give some complex answer to, actually simple answer to complex questions. Today I want to show you a project that we did. I'm sorry, I don't know how to go ahead. Just clicking there. Thank you. A project that we did in our school for boundary areas. We are in Naples, a ferry neighborhood designed in the 30s, and now, right now it's an almost abandoned area. The idea was that of rethinking the north entrance to that site. And I want to show that what is my idea about the town. The town is made by several layers superimposed. And we need to read again all the traces left before us. This was a place that was a countryside until the 30s. Then after World War II, the town of Naples expanded, and the existing street, which is named Via Terracina, is now a sort of a suburban street without any qualities. But instead, this urban axis had several potentialities that could be really the spine on which to inscribe a series of small intervention that can transform that neighborhood, being like a human spine that held our bodies. This spine can hold the small intervention that they're supposed to connect the north side with the south side of the ferry. So the idea of this green linear park should be designed a series boulevard, like a boulevard for a slow mobilities, main public and pedestrian mobilities. Design a series of events that are occurring along this street. There is a Roman, the Neapolis-Puteolis street that was connecting Neapolis to Puteolis. There is a mausoleum, there is a thermal bath, Roman thermal bath, but this site also this neighborhood needs of green spaces for the community, and also needs of facilities in which the community can recognize and meet themselves in there. So this it's an general view and bird-eye view of the of a partial of this spine that should have some elements like the scope 1, the transforming of a former farm as a place for students. Nearby there is the Polytechnic School of Naples, so they need a place where dormers or cafeteria and study rooms. Instead, along the green spine, there should be rethought a series of musealization areas like the thermal bath or the mausoleum. Where now there is an abandoned area with some slums, with some construction, temporary constructions, we thought that this place should be important to design a core area like a modern forest of the town, a forest that should be the pivot area on which to open a series of streets on the hillside where there were green vegetable gardens that are now abandoned. We call it urban orti urbani, urban vegetable gardens. In Italy there are similar boundaries areas that are now giving back to the citizens small plot of green in order to where to cultivate themselves vegetables or just enjoy of being outside. This is the Via Terracina. Today, as you can see, it's out of quality, without quality street, but thanks to a green wall with opening that should connect the areas south with the north area, probably that place, thanks to the reduction to the cars settlement in opposition of the pedestrian, this could be a new place for the citizens. There are some views. You can see some view of the new park that we call Maradona Park, because we are near this soccer stadium, the Maradona Stadium, because this neighborhood doesn't have public green space. Our towns in Italy doesn't have that much green spaces. So, and for the people that live in that area, it's an important issue. And this is the first ideas for the forest on the opening, on a former opening north entrance to the Mostra d'Oltremare, the exhibition of the overseas. There was an interesting project done by a Napolitan, one of the few female architects of that time. Her name was Stefania Filo-Speziale. And there was a very interesting site that was destroyed, not by the war, but by the human stupidities, Italian stupidities, you can say. So in our project, we decided to bring the memory of that entrance that wasn't like an exedra, but using vegetables, greens, using trees, bringing back, like lining out the opening. In this we thought some civic activities like a lapidarium, a library, or an auditorium, plus rooms for meeting people, for the meeting of the community. So we think that we try with this project, as I told you before, to with a simple green spine that should be the structure of new events, to not using megastructures, not using a great or destroying the pre-existing, like what the professor that before me had her speech about the importance of using what we get before in order to probably try to give some meaning of the place where we live. Thank you.
Dziękuję bardzo za